1, 2, 3, Yo, yo.
Michael Franti has a career that goes all the way back to the 80s, first with the Beatniks, then opening for U2 during his Disposable Heroes days, and most famously as the frontman of Spearhead. We caught up with the musician, activist, and father to talk politics, parenting, and that next Spearhead record.
Weekly feed, Kyle, Meredith. Hey, kids. Michael Franti. Welcome,
How you doing,
man.
Kyle? Thanks. Good to be here.
Welcome to Louisville.
It's great to be back here.
Yeah, Do It for the Love tour, right?
Yes, it is.
I guess you might be calling that. I mean, there's no record to promote right now, so this has got to be all for the love.
That's it. We're doing it for the love. We've actually, since we started, we've been doing it for the love. And,
Sure.
But, you know, we've been together now as a band since 1993. And, you know, Carl and I, who's been with me from the very start, we were just talking the other day about how when we first started, we were in a little white van driving down the road, a little trailer on the back, and
Right.
we'd play a show, and then we'd ask at the end of the night, is there some place, I just say it on the mic, is there somebody who can put us up on your floor? And that was our hotel for the night. And so we're really appreciative
Sure.
of, we're in a tour bus, we get to stay in hotels every now and then, but we still, when we get on stage, we still do feel like we just get started. We're learning new songs and trying different things out every night, and so that's why we call it the Do It for the Love tour.
Yeah, well, I mean, and it's been an amazing career. Like I said, you guys have been going, and you even before then, to kind of stuck in it as long as you have and still came out with the mindset that you have, I think is really impressive. So
yeah, and still like all my fingers and toes, most of my brain left. Yeah.
So I have to imagine last time around with Sound of Sunshine, I'd heard that you'd written quite a bit of that on the road in the band and everything. Is that happening right now? Is there a new record?
Yeah, actually, we've been setting up our recording studio backstage everywhere we go, and I've written about 30 songs, and now we're just starting to get to the point where like turning them into actual recordings for the record. So every night we're either on the tour bus doing it or backstage doing it, and it's really cool because you get to see how the fans respond. So like I have this song called Life is Better With You, and last night right before the show we changed up the beat on the recording. We were like, oh, this is a really hot beat, let's do it like this. And then we saw immediately like, yeah, the crowd kind of likes it better this way, just like we thought. So
that's a great way of doing it. I mean, so you're not worried though about bootlegs or whatever else and everybody getting demo-itis, No, I remember when they did it like that and I liked it so much better.
No, I mean, these days with the internet, things happen immediately. So when we write a new song, we go out and we play it. Our fans know it, and by the time they get the record, they're familiar with all these songs, and they're singing along to them at all the shows. And it actually works in reverse for us. The anticipation builds. They go, oh, wow, I really like this song, but we can't get the recording yet. There's just a kind of a scratchy live off someone's iPod thing, and then eventually they get the record. So it works good for us because we get to test the songs and make them be the best they could be. And also works great for the fans because they get to know the songs ahead of time.
What's always interesting with each record, I mean, you can definitely tell where you're pulling your lyrics from, what's going on in your life. That happened, of course, last time. What's going on in the world? There's a lot of stuff happening. I mean, Occupy, you were there last fall.
Yeah, we were out at the various Occupy protests, not just in New York, but all around Europe. We were touring Europe, and every city we'd stop, we'd go out there and play a couple songs. And right now is a time when there's a lot of discontent in the world. Economically, all over the world, things are in such dismal shape. And people are saying, look, what about us who are just like regular people? We're not billionaires, The decisions that we make affects the 5 people in my house, not 5 million people who are going to lose their job because of your greed, And so, we were out, at a lot of these different events. And now this year, obviously, it's an election year in this country. It's a huge election, very, very important, deciding which direction we want our country to go into. And we, in this country, make that decision for the rest of the quote-unquote free world, the president. And so we try to have at all our shows a voter registration organization. I think tonight Headcount is here, and they're registering people to vote. And now I never try to encourage people to vote either one way or the other. My politics are pretty clear. I believe that there should be equality for people. We should allow gay marriage. We should have more of an emphasis on schools than we should on prisons, for example. And we should spend more of our money on domestically than on wars abroad. But I just feel it's important for everybody to participate and to vote and to raise their voice. And so we don't encourage people to vote for one candidate or the other, just to vote either.
Well, it's a heck of a time for a Spearhead record then, with all that happening.
Yeah, it's a lot happening.
Yeah. So you just said you got part of the whole Occupy thing, and here we are, almost a year since it's happened. I mean, do you see has it made a difference? Because everybody wanted it to make a difference. I felt like.
I think
it was
so.
there.
I think for sure. I mean, people certainly Obama has had to address it in his speeches, and the whole idea of the 99% and the 1%, it kind of draws a line for a lot of people, like which side are you on? And it's not really based necessarily upon how much money you make.
Sure.
It's based upon what where you want to see the resources of the world going to. And I'm somebody who believes that when people have jobs and they have stability, they buy stuff, and in turn it helps the corporations to run, and they then provide jobs for people. And some people think it should be the other way around. We should provide all the tax breaks for the corporations and it'll trickle down. But I have yet to see that happen in my lifetime. So.
Well, the last record was so bright, and here you are saying all of this. What's happening? I mean, how do you keep that momentum and the positivity with it?
Well, this record that we're working on right now, I sort of taken this idea of seeing Earth from outer space. Like when you look at Earth from outer space, you don't see all these problems like occupying economics and this and that. You just see this one beautiful, like glowing marble, this one single cell, really. This tiny little membrane around it that's our atmosphere. That's all the air we breathe, all the rain, everything that sustains life. And then you get in closer and you start to see like the effects of humankind. You start to see lights and grids. You start to see like places where maybe there's deforestation. You start to see oceans and stuff. And then you get in closer and you start to see those divisions. We drew a line here and this is Iraq. And we drew a line here and this is Canada, this is the U.S. Then you get closer and you start to see human relation. And you do see those wars, you see those troubles. But then you get even closer and you see the love between like people who connect with each other who maybe didn't even know each other, or the love between a mother and father and a newborn baby, And so this album, I'm just sort of taking a look at that idea of Earth from outer space and seeing it just as this one thing, and then also seeing it in that real micro perspective of what's up close. And not so much the things in between, just far away in that micro. I always want to make sure that the record is balanced, just like your life. You've got your time when you get up, you take care of your kids, you get them all fed and cleaned up, and make lunch, you drive them to school, then you do work, and then you come home, you do the same thing over again for your kids, and then every now and then you get to like bust loose and party, So we have to be, the balance on the record has to address some of those issues, but mainly we have to be the party, because that's what people really mainly go to music for, is to either get that emotion out in some way and bring a tear to your eye or bring a smile to your face, but mainly to make you dance. And so that's what we try to do, is make sure that it's mostly fun.
Do you try to influence your kids on the politics and what's going on?
No, I don't. I don't really. I mean, my kids are all. I have two sons, and they're both very beautiful, loving, caring people. I don't try to influence them politically, but I encourage them to treat everybody that they meet better than how they want to be treated. And they do. They're both really loving, kind people, and they're both into music. I've never said you have to take a piano lesson or do anything like that, but my younger son, he always turns me on to videos that he sees on YouTube and new records that he's found. And my older son is producing his own music and making his own beats, and he rhymes, and he's got a little band together, and he's doing really well. So
you get to sit back and be the proud pop at that point.
Yeah, or the worried pop. Oh no, he's going into music. Oh my God.
No, but and to further down that rabbit hole too, you ended up writing a children's book. You've written two now, though, right?
Two.
Yeah. Do we expect more? And
I'm going to write more kids' books for sure.
Yeah.
I've always read. My youngest son is 13. We still read every night together.
Oh,
like
cool.
I still crawl into bed with him. and now it's more like Hunger Games. And,
Sure.
You know, we went through the whole Harry Potter thing. But when I was little, we would read all the kids' books, you know, and I love that time of day, because then we also sort of download. We sit there and we say, you know, what happened at school today? You know, what's going on? You know, and we talk, and it's like a special time for us, you know, and so to have this book that I've now written, which is it's called Where in the World Is a Way.
Mm-hmm.
It's about two kids who are trying to find a place to throw their bottle away.
Right.
And they realize as they go around that there's no place that's away. There's just somewhere else. And then this bird comes along and teaches them how to recycle. Takes them to this recycling center, and they see how it goes through the whole process. The bottle ends up turning into something else. And you know, when I was a kid, my family, we didn't really start recycling until I was a teenager. You know, it became like, wow, this is a thing that we should do. And you know, my kids have always grown up learning to recycle, and I want it to be a part of every household. I think it should be, not just in our country, but around the world. Everybody should know and have access to recycling. And so we made this fun kind of Dr. Seuss rhymey, really cool picture book about recycling.
It seems like for a second, you know, there was the movement there, you know, and people were using the buzzwords and everything, and you know, and it goes, and it's got to be a little bit frustrating, you know, when it kind of starts falling out of vogue and people start forgetting about it. And
yeah, I think more and more people are recycling. I mean, I see it at the music venues that we play at. It used to be a time when all the trash just went into one big bin at the end of the night, bottles and everything. And now most venues are recycling. A lot of venues are going to biodegradable cups for their beer and stuff, and we see it all around the country, and at the festivals too, the bigger festivals where there's 50,000 people there for a week, an incredible amount of waste.
Yeah, right.
But organizations like Clean Vibes, which is the rock and roll organization to green all the festivals, are pretty much at every festival now.
Right.
And it's part of our musical consciousness now.
well, you're doing great things out there, and
Thanks,
I can't
Scott.
wait for the new record.
Thank you, man.
Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, it's great to be here.
Right.